Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf. Yevamos Daf Nun Gimel, the last Daf of Perek Rabban Gamliel. We are holding on Nun Beis Amud Beis, 4 lines from the bottom. So what happens if an Isha had Chalitza? And then the Yavam does Ma'amar, which is a Yibum version of Kiddushin. Does that Ma'amar have an effect or not? Rabbi Akiva says no way, because an Isha who had Chalitza is in effect a Chayave Lavin. Interacting with her is a lav. And therefore Kiddushin cannot have any effect on an Isha who is subject to a lav. On the other hand, we have the Chachamim who say, look, even in this case, Kiddushin is Taifis. Rabbi takes a middle approach. Depends. If it's L'Shem Ishus, then it's a Kiddushin. If it's a Kiddushin L'Shem Yevamos, whatever that means, we'll see in a minute, then it doesn't work. We have no less than 6 ways to explain this machlekes. Yesterday we already learned 2. Today the Gemara will add 4 more. Says the Gemara 4 lines from the bottom, Rava Amar. I'll explain to you the machlekes. Ida Amar La b'mamar Yevamin. Suppose he approaches the Yevama. I'm doing mamar, which is unique to Yevamin. Mamar Yevamin, that's how he calls it. To kuli amali pligi de mahani. All agree the Kiddushin is Taifis. V'ach b'mayaskinan ki going to Amar Lo iskacheli bezikas Yevam. So we're not coming to explain Rabbi Akiva, who holds that it doesn't work because she's a chayav elav. We're explaining Shitas Chachamim, who say that it's going to work in all cases, and Rabbi who draws that line between L'Shem Ishus, L'Shem Yabm, says Rava. He means like this. If it would have been a Kiddushin L'Shem Yabmus, B'mamar Yabmin, all agree. Even Rabbi would agree that the Kiddushin takes effect. However, we are speaking about a case. He adds the word Zika. I'm doing a Kiddushin which rides above the Zika, which reinforces the Zika that you have with me. Oh, this is the point of Machlekes here. Rabbi Savar Yesh Zika. He holds of the famous Shita Yesh Zika, that the Yevama is considered bound and tied to the Yavam due to the fact that she's awaiting his Yibam. That creates sort of a bond and a relationship. And when the Chachamim have taught us that Mamar / Kiddushin done to a Yevama is reckoned with, has value. You know why it does? It's based on Zika. It reinforces the Zika. It strengthens the Zika, which is the basis, which is the background for the Mamar. It has something to support the Mamar. The Zika supports and reinforces it forms the foundation, let's put it this way, the foundation for the Mamar. That's typically when there is Zika. But here there was Chalitza. V'asari Chalitza avkati leZika. The Chalitza removed the Zika. How can you make a Kiddushin bezikas Yevam? There is no Zika. That's Rabbi's shit. Rabbanan Savri ain't Zika. They don't hold of this concept of Zika. This being obligated, this nefila liyivam doesn't have the koyach of really connecting the yavam to yivama, and therefore miikara initially, meaning before chalitza, when there was zika, ilu amar leiskashli bezikas yivamin. Suppose the yavam tells her, "I'm going to be mekadosh you bezikas yivam." Milay mahani, doesn't it work? Of course it does. It works because Mamar has an independent koyach. It's not necessarily getting enwrapped with the Zika. The Zika is not a significant factor to reckon with to begin with. Apparently Mamar is an independent entity. No, Sa'ashtanami Mahani here as well. Even after Chalitza, even after the Zika was removed, Mamar can still be introduced. And therefore it works. Rav Shravi Amar. I'll tell you another pshat in the machlekes. Bechalitza kshera. If this chalitza that we're speaking about would have been a proper chalitza, Ida Amar lo iskacheli bezikas yivamin. In that case, after chalitza, he approaches her. I'm making a kedushin Yevamin. Skachli bezikas Yevamin. Kul yamale pligile mahani. All agree, even Chacham agree it doesn't work. It's post chalitza. It's post zika. And this kedushin needs to come reinforce zika, which is no longer here. So what's the machlekes? V'acha b'chalitza psula k'mifleki. We're speaking about a case where the chalitza was not a chalitza kshera, not applied to a yibum enabled yivama. Rather, it was already after a get, in which case she became disqualified from yibum. That's the machlekes. Mar saba chalitza psula peteres. Rebbe holds even this type of chalitza removes the zika. When zika is no longer here, you can't do iskacheli bezikas yivamin. Umar sava chalitza psula ain't a peteres. Rabbanan hold chalitza psula doesn't dissolve the zika altogether, all the completely dissolve the zika, and therefore there is some remnant of zika. And when he says iskacheli bezikas yivamin, it has an effect. Rav Ashi Amar, the Kuli Alma all agree chalitza psula ain't a peteres. No, if it's a chalitza psula, it doesn't remove the zika completely, and this type of kedushin would take effect. So what's the machlekes? He did a proper chalitza, but with a condition. Almanas, on condition that you pay me 200 zuz. Mar savar yesh t'nai b'chalitza. Shitas chachamim is that you can apply it tonight to chalitza. It affects the chalitza. In this case, she hadn't kept her condition. She hadn't fulfilled her part of the deal. Well, the chalitza is not yet, is not going to take effect. It's not going to take hold. Zika is still standing. And therefore this kedushin can attribute itself to the zika and have effect. Umar sabra ain't tonight b'chalitza. No. Rabbi holds chalitza is not something which can be subject to t'nai. There's a sugi later on, daf kavav. In any case, that's his shita. Chalitza is a chalitza, unaffected by t'nai. Even without fulfilling that condition, the chalitza is still a valid chalitza, which removes the zika, which disallows this type of mamar. Ravina Amar Dekuli Yamu Yesh T'nai b'chalitza. Perhaps everybody would hold that a t'nai can affect the chalitza. That's if it's a properly articulated t'nai. The question is, how do you articulate a t'nai? Do you have to do it in duplicate form? If you pay me the money, it's going to work. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You have to go through the positive and the negative. That's the shaila. Mar savar be'inu t'nai kafel. That's shitas Rabbi. In order to reckon with a t'nai, it needs to be a t'nai kafel, like we find by the t'nai that Moshe Rabbeinu did with the shvatim of Gad and Reuven. If you come help your fellow Jews, you'll get your inheritance as you wish. Otherwise, you won't. You have to go through both sides of the equation to really emphasize it. We're speaking in this case where he did a chalitza with a t'nai, but not a t'nai kafel. Rabbi says that's not a t'nai. Chalitza takes effect without regard to fulfilling that t'nai, because it's not a t'nai. Zika's gone. You can no longer do this. Hiskachili bezika sivam. Umar savar loy bein a t'nai kafel. Chachamim disagree. You don't need a double t'nai. Even a single file t'nai works and affects the chalitza. As long as the t'nai was not yet fulfilled, chalitza does not take a hold. The zika remains in place. And therefore, iskachili bezika sivam works. Continues the Gemara. Let's go back to the Mishnah. Cholatz v'asam mamar v'nosan getu bal. This is back on Daf Nun Amud Aleph, the first half of the Mishnah. One Yavam, one Yevama. We had 4 categories, 4 different possible variations of sequences. We had a case where he started with the Mamar, followed with something else, started with the Get, and followed with something else, started with the Chalitza, followed by other things, or started with Baal and followed by other things. Interestingly enough, even though we just finished speaking about Baal, followed by something else, what does the Mishnah say? Ein achar chalitza klum. Chalitza is the final destination. The Mishnah could have just said ein achar be'ila klum, because that's the last category that's been discussed. Be'ila was the starting point, followed by something else. Mishnah should have said, well, be'ila, that carries the day. V'nisni nami einachar bia klum. Why does the Mishnah stop and say, well, einachar chalitza klum, and that's it? If anything, the Mishnah should have referred back to the most recent discussion where bi'ila was paramount. And that is considered the end of the road. That's Minat Torah. Abaye v'Rava d'Amar Tavayu, they both explain, you're right. Tani, let's revise the Mishnah. Ein achar bia klum. Instead of saying ein achar chalitza, say ein achar bia klum, because bia is Minat Torah. That concludes the process. And once we have that, of course, ein achar chalitza klum is self-understood. V'tana didan. Why didn't our Tana choose this lashon? V'tana didan ha'toras yevama l'shuk adifale, because the Mishnah was trying to teach us chidushim and prefer discussing ways that the Yevama is allowed to go marry out. That's a chiddush. Even though this and this and this was done to her, she can go and marry out, because chalitza is the final, has the final say, and it makes her mutter. There was no shaila in halach here. Of course, the Tana agrees that bia is also the final word, but there's a chiddush ring to it when you say, well, ein achar chalitza klum, go out and get married. Okay, the Mishnah says, echad yevama achas, echad shtei yevamis. This concept of repeating, all these types of applications, whether it's bia, chalitza, mamar, get, doing it repetitively, it applies to whether it's one yavam doing it to two yavamis, alternating between one and the other, or it's two brothers, or each one doing their own thing to the two yavam, to the single yavamos. Yeah, Reuven and Shimon. Reuven does mamar to Rachel, and Shimon also does mamar to Rachel. It's all the same idea. The point is, when you do repetitive processes, you have to deal with them individually, as we explained in the Mishnah. So bottom line is, it's mashma in the Mishnah that if you have one yavam with two yavamis, that same fellow has the capacity to do one mamar to Rachel and one mamar to Leah, and we have to deal with it accordingly. Mas nisim loike ben Azai, which seems not to follow ben Azai's shita, who says that no, once you expend your resources, you're done. The Sanya ben Azai omer yesh mamar chamamar b'shtei yavamin. When there are two brothers, yeah, so each brother has his own power of mamar. V'yivama achas, right? You have Reuven and Shimon. Reuven will do mamar to Rachel, and so will Shimon. And you have to deal with them individually. But when it's just one fellow, he can't do mamar and then mamar again. It's over. Vein mamar char mamar b'shtei yavamis v'yavam echad. There's only one brother here. He doesn't have the power to do mamar to one yavama and mamar to the other yavama. He's expended his resources, and he no longer has that power. Our Mishnah seems to indicate otherwise, because Mishnah clearly says that this halacha, this idea of repeating applications can apply even to one yavam with two yavamis. Keitzad marmar lezu. So Mishnah speaks about a case where he had two yavamis. He did mamar to Rachel, v'cholatz lezu. That's the Lashon Mishnah. Right? The fact that the Mishnah seems to be saying that the chalitza was going to be done to the other Yevama, not to Rachel who had the mama, rather to Leah, is a raya Leah Masayeli l'Shmuel. It would seem to be a raya to Shmuel Damar Shmuel, that you have to do the chalitza in the most optimal way. So you have Rachel and Leah. You did mama to Rachel, and then it's time for chalitza. You should not be doing it to Rachel. You know why? Because the chalitza to Rachel is not a complete chalitza. It's not going to really free her. She needs a get to address the mamar. So that chalitza is sort of an incomplete chalitza. And it's not going to exempt Leah, who needs a proper chalitza. Cholatz l'balas mamar, says Shmuel. Lo nifter etzarasa. Right? So if you do a chalitza to Rachel, who had the mamar, that chalitza is an incomplete chalitza, because it still needs the get to help it out. So it's not going to exempt it tzara. Right? Again, the Mishnah speaks about a case where he did mama to Rachel, v'cholatz l'Leah. The Gemara is assuming the Mishnah is sort of advising us how to do it. And that's a right to Shmuel. Damar Shmuel, cholatz l'balas mamar l'nifter utzaras. If you do chalitza to Rachel, it wouldn't exempt it, tzara. Rather, you're supposed to do chalitza to Leah. V'tiyuf to Rav Yosef, and it's a kasha on Rav Yosef. It tells us back on the Mem Daled that a person should do chalitza specifically to the Isha, who in any case would become disqualified from marrying a Kohen, such as in this case it would be Rachel who's going to have a get. In any case, do it to Rachel. Mishnah seems to indicate you have to dafka do it to Leah. Answers the Gemara, not so quick. Migtani choletz. Does the Mishnah tell you? Is the Mishnah then advising you how to do it? It says choletz Leah, choletz katani. That's what happened. It's after the fact. It's not advising you how to do it. Mishnah is not giving you recommendations. Simply describing a chain of events. Continues the Gemara. Get lazu, v'get lazu. So if you give a get to Rachel and to Leah, Mishnah says that they need a chalitza. Get lazu v'get lazu. I'm just reading in the Mishnah back on the Nunam Beis. Tzrichos heimenu chalitza. They need chalitza. The Gemara is assuming that tzrichos is dafka, meaning they both need chalitza, because since Rachel got a get and Leah got a get, they have become yibum disabled. Right? The get sort of detaches them, it disqualifies them from yibum. Of course, it's rabbanon, but that psul doesn't allow for a proper chalitza, because a proper chalitza means a chalitza given in a yibum situation, in a yibum enabled situation. This is a chalitza psul, and therefore you have to go make your rounds and give each one a separate chalitza. You can't be mitzi one with the other ones because it's not a proper chalitza. Yevamos Rav Huna, Dama Rabba Bar Rav Huna, chalitza psula tzricha lechazer al kol ha'achin. That if it's a chalitza psula, you have to make your rounds. You have to go to all the brothers. Each brother has to make his own chalitza. Such as over here. It's a chalitza psula. Each Yevama needs her own chalitza. And as Rashi points out, the Mishnah later tells us the same thing applies when there are there are two brothers, two Yevamin, and one Yevama. Right? And each one gave his get to this Yevama. Each brother needs to do his own chalitza. That's what the Gemara is assuming. The same concept of repetitive chalitzas applies when there are two brothers with one Yevama. And that's exactly Rabbi's halacha. You need to make your rounds. Go around to all the brothers. Each Yevama needs a separate chalitza. Each brother needs to give a separate chalitza. Is that a raya from the Mishnah or not? Says the Gemara once again, it's not necessarily a raya. It's just a question of, semantics here. And the question is how you define the word tzrichos. My tzrichos doesn't necessarily mean they all need. In this case, they all need. Tzrichos d'alma means that whenever you encounter such a situation out there, then chalitza is required. How many chalitzas? Perhaps one is enough. So there's no raya in the Mishnah. Okay, the Mishnah spoke about get lazu v'chalatz lazu. So you have a get to Rachel and chalitza to Leah. Mishnah says, Einacha chalitza klum. That's it. Chalitza is the end of the road. Now, why does the Mishnah say that get was given to Rachel and chalitza only to Leah? It would sound from the Mishnah davka to Leah, because Rachel shouldn't be getting chalitza. She's already been affected by that get. She's a psula. Right? She's disqualified from Yibam, therefore the chalitza should be given to her counterpart. Oh, this is pretty much like a repetition of the previous Gemara. The third is a right to Shmuel. That what? You're not meant to give the chalitza to the one who was puzzled, rather to her friend. But to Rabbi Yosef and a kasha on Rabbi Yosef who tells us otherwise. And says the Gemara the same as before. Miktani choletz. Does the Mishnah then give us recommendations? Do this. Cholatz ktani. But we're speaking about what happened. So it happens to be a chalitza to the other isha, but he could have just as much given chalitza to the first isha. Chalatz v'chalatz, chalatz v'chulu. This is towards the end of the Mishnah. The category speaking about chalitza being first, followed by something else, followed by a mamar, by a get, etc. What does Mishnah say? Ein acha chalitza klum. Right? Chalitza is the end of the road. The kasha is, this is similar to what the Gemara asked before, but look close at the end of the Mishnah. The last category is really the case where Baal was first. So he did Baal and then he did something else, whether it's mamar or get or chalatz. Why does the Mishnah sort of ignore that sequence? The Mishnah should have just gone back to the most recently mentioned sequence, which is Baal being first, and say, well, ein achar be'ila klum, right? Be'ila is the final word. But listening, nami ein achar be'ila klum. Why did the Mishnah say that? Abayi v'ramad amrit havayu. You're right. Tani, let's revise the Mishnah. Ein achar be'ila klum. Be'ila is the last and final word. V'tana didan. Why didn't our Tana mention that? Hataras Yevamos l'shukadifalei. The Tana preferred discussing chalitza, enacha chalitza klum, because that pertains to the fact that the Yevama can marry out, which is a chiddush. So even though there was chalitza with something else, no, chalitza is effective. It's it has the final say in the matter, and she's mutar l'shuk. But of course, in halacha there is no machlekes. Yibum has the same effect. Yibum is the final destination, and can no longer be affected by anything else. Bein yavam echad l'shtei yevamos v'chulu. Now the Gemara will focus on a very specific case, a case where there was chalitza done to Rachel, and mamar to Leah. Mishnah says it doesn't work. Why? Because as we explained, the Mishnah is following Shittas Rabbi Akiva. Ein kedushin toifsin mechayev elavin. Once the isha is a chalutza, she is subject to a lav, and therefore kedushin does not have any effect. Now, before we begin the Gemara, we have to go back a bit. Back on Daf Yud, we had a machlekes between Rabbi Yehuda and Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yehuda holds that when a chalitza is done, Shimon is chalitz Rachel. He exempts the other brothers. She exempts the other Yevamos. It's as though they are all experiencing this process. It's sort of a shlichus. Shlichus shel adam k'moisei. And just as Shimon with Rachel is chayav elavin, because Shimon is the chalitz, Rachel is his chalutza, is a lav if they interact any further. Right? But there's no more chorus here. She's not an ordinary sister-in-law. She's a chalutza. So just as we treat her as a chalutza to him, we treat her as a chalutza to the other brothers as well. Because it's as though they all experience the chalitza. Likewise, when it comes to her fellow Yevama, the contemporary Yevama, the other Nashim there, the other tzaris, it's as though they all experience chalitza. And therefore, if any of the brothers interact with any of the Yevamis, there's only a lav and not karis. Reish Lakish says no. Between chalitz and chalutza, between Shimon who did the chalitza and Rachel who received the chalitza, there's only lav. She is a chalutza to him. That's it. Not to the other brothers. The other brothers, she's regular sister-in-law. Is karis. And likewise, the other Yevamis, the other tzaris, who are not subject to chalitza, once again, they're regular sisters-in-law. And there's karis. So getting back to the Mishnah, there was chalitza done to Rachel and mamar to Leah. Mishnah says, well, ein kedushin toifsin, kedushin can't be applied to an isha who's a chayav elavin, because she's a chalutza. B'shleim el Rabbi Yehuda. This works according to Rabbi Yehuda. The Amar, kula beisa b'lav koi. The entire family, the entire household, has a lav. Karas is no longer on the table. All brothers are considered like they did chalitza. All Yevamos are treated as though they experienced chalitza. Istruch lashmi'inon, therefore the Mishnah has to tell you that if chalitza was done to this one and then mamar to the other one, or if this brother did chalitza and then the other brother did mamar, it doesn't work because the ein kedushin taifsim chayav lav, and because the fact is there's a chayav lav and the kedushin doesn't work. It's not chorus, it's just lav, but Rabbi Kiva holds kedushin and lav are incompatible. Ela l'reish lakish, according to Reish Lakish, who holds the only individuals who are affected by lav is him and her, the chaylitz and the chalutza. But everybody else has chorus. El Reish Lakish d'amar kula beisa b'chorus koy. The rest of the family has chorus. So the other brothers or the other Yevamos have chorus. Kula beisa b'chorus koy. Of course, kiddushin can't work by chayav krisus. That's not a chiddush. Istruch lashmi'inon. Does the Mishnah now then have to come tell us this? The ein kedushin teifsin b'chayav krisus, that a chayav krisus situation can't accommodate kedushin? Of course not. It's pashut. Why does the Mishnah have to discuss this? Amalach Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish responds, you're right. It's a good point. According to you, Sefer Diktani. Let's look at the Mishnah later on. Baal v'asa mam. So you have Rachel and Leah, two Yevamos. And this fellow, this Yavam Echad, goes over to Rachel Baal, goes over to Leah and does mamar. Mishnah says, well, after Baal, it's over. Ein achar, bi'aklum. It's over. Is that a chiddush? Of course it's over. Yisrach lashmi'inon de'in kedushin toifsin be'ishes ish. Is there a chiddush? That Shimon, right? Reuven and Shimon and just one Yevama. That's what Rashi learns. Reuven and Shimon and one Yevama. So Reuven does Bia and Shimon does Mamar. To the same Yevama. Is that a chiddush? She's Neishes Ish. She's already married to Reuven. So what's the chiddush? Ella, I did the Tana. HaToras Yavam Echad V'Yevama Achas. You're right. Not every case in the Mishnah has a chiddush. Sometimes the Mishnah just, goes through a list, to keep the symmetry, to keep the cases matching, So I did the Tana because we speak about the Torah Yavam Echad V'Yevama Achas. Once we discuss a case where there's only one Yavam faced with one Yevama, and that's a great chiddush, even according to Reish Lakish, because here we're saying that it's only one Yavam, he's Shimon, facing Rachel. He does chalitza, and then he follows with a mamar to the same isha. And remember, he is the chaylet, she's the chalutza. There's only a lav. Still, the chiddush of the Mishnah is you should know that kiddushin can't work by a lav situation. That's a chiddush. That's a true chiddush. So on account of that case, which is a true chiddush, we just complete the list. We go through the other evaluations as well, even though they're not really a chiddush at all. So on account of that, tananamish te Yevamos v'Yavam Echad. We go over to the case of two Yevamos with one Yavam. Although over there it's not a great chiddush because, as we explained, the other Yevama, that's chayav krisis. She's not chalutza, she's a regular sister-in-law. V'ayded the tanash te Yevamos v'Yavam Echad. Once we discuss two Yevamos with one Yavam, we just complete the symmetry. Tananamish te Yevamin v'Yavama Achas. Two brothers with one Yavam, which again is not a chiddush as we just explained. Continues the Gemara. Let's go back to one Yavam and one Yavam, which indeed is a chiddush. Chaletz v'asa mamar. So he does chalitza to Rachel and does mamar to Rachel. Or does chalitza and does a get. We go through all the variations. Why are they necessary? What chiddush do they contain? Let's go through the cases. Bishlei mechalatz v'asa mamar. I understand why you need to tell me. And in that case, it's worthless. Why is it worthless? Remember, we're following Rabbi Kiva. Once he does chalitza, there's a lav, and mamar has no effect. Why is that a chiddush? Istrich, there's a chiddush here. Sakadai dechamina, perhaps I would say, nigzor mamar the basa chalitza. Perhaps I should make a gzera. Even when it was chalitza and then mamar, so mamar followed chalitza, in which case Mamar has no effect. Again, Rabbi Kiva holds Kiddushin can't be applied to an Isha that has a lav. But still, perhaps we should obligate a get in this case. Why? Nigzor Mamar the Basa Chalitza ought to, because it might lead to another case. On account of Mamar the Kame Chalitza. If you ignore the Mamar in this case, perhaps you'll ignore the Mamar done before Chalitza, and that's problematic. That needs a get. So maybe apply a get here as well, to avoid confusion. Kamash Mlon Dele Gazrin, and the Chiddush is, we're not Geyser, no? When it was Chalitza, and then a Mamar, ignore the Mamar. That's a Chiddush. Ella, but in the next case, where's the Chiddush? What's the next case? Cholatz, and then V'nasan get. So it's one Yavam, one Yevama, right? He did Chalitza to her, and then gave a get. Lamali, what's the point of mentioning this halacha? That what? That it has no effect. Of course, so, I mean, it's already after Chalitza. Why even mention it? Really, Tamech, according to you, let's dwell on a different case. Amos safe. Move on to the next part. Ba'al v'asa mamar, Ba'al v'nasan get. Mishnah speaks about a case where there was one Yavam, one Yevama. So either it was Bia and then Mamar, or Bia and then Get. What does the Mishnah tell you? Bia is the final destination. So let's say there was Bia and then Get, that's fine. He was Miyabim and then he divorced her. There's no more Zika here. What's the Chiddush of those cases? Isn't that obvious? Bishlam and Baal v'nasan Get Istrich. I understand why the Mishnah mentions this case. Baal and then a Get. Don't worry about the fact that there was a Get. No, the Get actually addresses the Baal. She was married and now she's divorced. And there's a Chiddush latent in that. There's some sort of a lesson being taught. There's a Chiddush. Why? Perhaps I would think that there should be concern here. Nigzor Get, the Basar Be'ila, a Get that followed Bia, can't just finish the job. Can't just disengage them and divorce them. We should still require maybe a Chalitza as well. You know why? Ought to get the Kame Bila, because this might lead to confusion. It might lead to another case where he'll do get before Bila. And I'll say, well, last time I saw the get was very effective by Yevama. It was Bila and then get, and she went home. Here as well, a get can disengage the Yevama. He won't realize here we're speaking the get before the Bila. She was still a proper Yevama with Zika. So in order to avoid that confusion, perhaps I should say, any get applied to any Yevama, even after Bia, where the get theoretically just does a complete job. No, don't reckon with it completely. Still have to address Zika to avoid any confusion. Kamash one, the Chiddush says, no, the Lake Azrina, we're not guys, everybody realizes. It was a Yivam and then a get. So that's a Chiddush. Aval Baal v'asa Mamar lamli. Well, I mentioned the other case. He was Baal and then did Mamar. So as mentioned, don't worry about the Mamar. Of course, don't worry. She's his wife. So what's the Chiddush? So apparently, not every case in the Mishnah has a Chiddush. Sometimes we just, go through the cases to complete the symmetry. Allah, I did the Tana Cholatz v'asa Mamar. Once we just mentioned Cholatz and then Mamar, Tana Nami Baal v'asa Mamar. So we go to that case as well. V'aidi the boy lemeimar. Right? So Cholatz v'asa Mamar, that's a Chiddush, as we explained before. Right? That's a Chiddush. Don't think there's a Gzeira of Mamar after Chalitza on account of Mamar before Chalitza. Right? We explained that before. That's a Chiddush. So on account of that, it also goes to the its sequel. Baal v'asa Mamar, even though that has no Chiddush, she's his wife. And likewise, if I did the Baal Meimar, Baal v'nasan get. Once we want to discuss the case of Baal followed by a get, which is a Chiddush, as we just mentioned. I don't think that the get or Yevama should not be reckoned with completely, because it might lead to a get before the Bila, and of course that's inappropriate. So on account of that, that's a Chiddush. We're not concerned about that. On account of that, Tananami, Chalatz, v'nasan get, we go to the other case as well, the sequel, which is Chalatz and then a get, even though in that case there's absolutely no Chiddush, because it's done. Once the Chalitza is done, she's Chalutza, he can't marry her relatives. What more can the get add? So bottom line is, we have 4 cases. 2 have a Chiddush, and the other ones are just sequel cases. Okay, one more piece. Bizman. So at the end of the Mishnah, we learn that Chalitza has the final say, and bia has the final say. Remember, these are minat Torah, therefore they carry the most weight. Now in the Mishnah, we had two shittas. We had Rabbi Nechemia. He says, look, irrespective of its position in the sequence, irrespective of where the bia or chalitza took place, before, after, get, before, doesn't matter. They carry the most weight and they end the process. Chachamim say no. Chalitza will end the process, but not bia. Only a bia kshera, bia which was done as number one, the first slot, a proper bia, that can have a proper weight. But otherwise, it's a chalitza psula, and it's not a clear-cut conclusion to the story. Mas nisin deloikei Tana. Our Mishnah is in dispute with the following Tana. The Tanya, Abba Yosi ben Yochanan Ishu Yishalayim, that was his name, Ishu Yishalayim Omer, Mishum Rabbi Meir. We are not mechalik, we don't distinguish between Yibum or Chalitza, Achaz Be'ila, whether it's Be'ila, Achaz Chalitza or Chalitza. Betchila, Ein Acharei Klum. If it's the first on the list, while she was unaffected by any other event, any other get or man, then we say it's the final word, it carries the most weight, it concludes the process. It's minat Torah. But if it's be'emtza, if it's somewhere in the middle, we got a slot somewhere in the middle of the sequence, something else was already done before the bia or chalitza, uba soifa, certainly if it's at the end of the sequence, preceded by all kinds of other things, yesh acharei klum, in that case we have to reckon with things that were done even after the bia and the chalitza. V'shalosh machlekes b'davar. In conclusion, we have three shittas here. Tanakama savar, the Tanakama of our Mishnah holds that chalitza is absolute. Wherever it's done, wherever it's on the sequence, whichever slot chalitza was inserted, chalitza is the final word. Bia is different. We already explained this back on Daf Nun. The Gemara went through a whole explanation why a bia psula is problematic. The Gemara will go through it briefly, but the Iker Sugi is back then, if you want to back over there after the Mishnah there, at the bottom of the Nun Amid base. According to Tanakama, we differentiate between a bia psula and a chalitza psula. Why? Bia, the ikalim migzar gazrina. When it comes to bia, with there's room for gzeris, we're geyser. But chalitza, the lekala migzar, like gazrina. When it comes to chalitza, there is no room for gzeris, as the Gemara explains back over there in Daf Nun Amid base on the bottom. Therefore, chalitza, wherever he is, concludes the process. Bia not. That's a shittas chachamim in the Mishnah. Shittas Tanakam. Rabbi Nechemia savar, bia name lekala migzar. No, even by bia, there's no room for gzera. It's not going to lead to confusion. Wherever that bia is situated, whether before, after get, before, after mamar, doesn't matter. Ein achar bia klum. And he explains briefly, the ka'amris ligzar. You're concerned about a gzera, ligzar, bia, achar get. If there was a get and then bia, you can't give that bia the most, the most recognition. You can't give it the proper recognition, the proper respect, and say, well, it overrides the get that preceded it. Why? Mishum bia achar chalitza, because next time it might lead to a bia done after chalitza, in which case, of course, it's problematic. People will say, well, look, last time I saw a get and then bia, the bia worked. So next time when I do chalitza to Rachel, I'll do bia to Leah. Of course, that's usher. That's what you're concerned about? Says Rabbi Nechemia, no concern, no worries. Given the chalitza da'rais, everybody knows the difference. Chalitza is minat Torah. That cuts off the zika, meida yadi. They don't know the difference between chalitza and a get. So one thing won't lead to the other. Although bia after get has effect, but not bia after chalitza, you can't compare. Uda ka'amras ligzar bia achar mamar. What about the other chashash? There was a mamar and then bia. You're saying, well, bia in that case is not so effective. Why? Mishum bia achar bia, because it might lead to a person doing bia and then another bia. Bia to Rachel and bia to Leah, which of course is us. We're not concerned about that confusion, says Rabbi Nechemia. Everybody knows the difference. Given the bia de'iraisa, hameida yadi. Everybody understands. You can't compare bia after mamar, which is only the rabbanon, to bia after bia, which is the raisa. So therefore, I don't hold that these chashashas, and I don't draw a line between chalitza and bia. Wherever chalitza is done, it's the final destination. Wherever yibum is done, it's the final say. That's the second shita. So rabbanon are geyser by bia. Rabbi Nechemia is not. And here comes the third shita. Rabbi Yosi ben Chanan savalak Rabbanon. He holds in concept like the Rabbanon. The Gazri b'biyah. They're concerned about a biyah psula having too much value, and they did not consider it. They don't give it the same weight as a proper biyah. That's number one. And he goes a step further. The Gazar chalitza mishal biyah. He says even a chalitza psula should not be given much respect. It's not considered the end of the road, because you want to maintain that attitude towards biyah. Biyah and chalitza, are pretty much two parts of the same equation, two halves of the same coin, and therefore you have to treat chalitza like biyah. And if it's a chalitza psula, we will not say ein acha chalitza klum. So bottom line is we have three shitas regarding the value of biyah or chalitza. According to Rabbi Nechemia, wherever they are situated in the sequence of events, it's over. It ends the process. Rabbi Yosi takes the opposite approach. He says only if it's first on the list, a proper biyah, a proper chalitza, but otherwise it can't be given that regard. Chachamim say biyah we are concerned, but not by chalitza. Hadran loch Rabban Gamliel. Continues the Mishnah. Habal yivimte. So this fellow is approaching Yibum. So he lives as married with his Yevamos. In all types of variations, it has the same effect. It's koina, the Yevamos. Bein b'shogeg, whether by accident, he thought it was his own wife. She thought it was her husband, didn't realize that he passed away. So say the Rishonim. Bein b'mezid, it was done on purpose. Rashi says l'shem znus, not l'shem mitzvah. So all types of variations, it's going to make the kinyan. Bein ba'oines, whether it was against their will, it was by accident. Bein b'ratzain, whether it was done willingly. Afilu hu shogeg v'hi mezida. Even if they're both not involved, they're both not mindful of the mitzvah. He thinks it's his own wife, and she's doing l'shem znus. Or hu mezid v'hi shogeges, hu anus. He was being forced. V'lo anusa, not she. He anusa, she was anusa. V'hu lo yanus, he's not. Echad ma'ara. Whether it's only a partial physical connection, v'echad agoyim, or a complete physical connection, kana, it makes the kinyan. V'lo chilek ben biyah lebiyah. The Torah is not machal between this type of biyah and the other, whether it's the front, the back, vaginal, anal, doesn't matter. V'chein abo al achas mikol hareish hareish b'Torah. The same concept, the same principles applies to any hareish. Or psulos, or cases where there were nashim that were pasal l'kahuna. Kigoyin, for instance, almana l'koyin gadol, a grusha v'chalutza l'koyin hedid, mamzeres or nasina, that nation of Nasinim, who are not allowed to marry Yisrael, and they intermarry Yisrael. Or Bas Yisrael, a Jewish girl, the mamzer l'nosim, pasal, and all these cases, it makes her pasal l'kahuna. And there's a case, there's an issue of punishment, etc. It doesn't matter what type of biyah, whether it's a complete or incomplete, or kedarka, like kedarka, any type of physical connection has the same effect. Maya filo, Mishnah says, well, the biyah to the Yevamos is considered an effective experience, whether it's shogeg amazit, and the Mishnah says afilu hu shogeg v'imazid. What's the point of afilu? What are you adding? Lo mebayik amar. It means like this. Needless to say, lo mebayik. Not only if it's hu shogeg, if only he is not into it, he's a shogeg, but v'hika machavna lamitzvah, she's into it, she knows what she's doing, lamitzvah. Not only in that case does it work. When there's one party who's mindful of what's going on, inami, or alternatively, who mazid, he has all kinds of other thoughts. Not l'shem mitzvah, v'hika machavna lamitzvah, and she is mindful of the mitzvah. So at least there's one party who's participating properly. Elo, the chiddush is afilu hu shogeg v'imazida. He is shogeg, she is mazid. The tavayu like a machavna l'shem mitzvah, they're both not into the mitzvah. Afilu achikana, the fact is, the experience by default makes a kinyan. It's min hashamayim. Isha hiknu min hashamayim. This type of experience automatically affects a kinyan. Tani Reb Chia explained further, afilu shneim shogegim, shneim mazidim, shneim anusim. They're both by accident, they're both b'mezid, or both doing it unwillingly. It works. Now, what does anus mean? Anus namasnis nechidami. How do you illustrate an anus in the case of a biyah? Non-Jews forced him, they coerced him to engage in biyah. That's not a proper oinus. The experience of biyah compels personal involvement. Va'amar Rava. Rava tells us, "Ein oines la'erva." When it comes to erva, there's no concept of oines by the man. Why? Levish ein kishui elo ladas. The physical interaction entails a stiffening of the aver, the kishui. That only happens through a conscious mind, through a cognitive awareness. That can't be forced upon a person. So there's no oines concept by arayis. What do you mean it's oines? Elo biyosh. No, we're speaking that it was during his sleep. Rashi says, "Shinis kasha kshu yoshin." It was kisha during sleep, and that's when there was a bia interaction. So he was forcibly connected to the isha in this state. Well, that wouldn't work in any case. That can't create a kinyan. Rabbi Yehuda Reader tells us, "Yoshin loikana bi vimtai." Doesn't make a kinyan. Rashi says on top, "Yoshin loikana the yoshin lav bar das." If you have a kinyan, a person who is asleep, he doesn't have the ability to make a kinyan. That option doesn't work. Ela ben nitka, says Rashi on the first line on top again. Ben niska sheniska shel ishtay. He experienced kishay with the intent of interacting with his wife. V'nafal menagag v'nitzka b'yivimta, and he fell off the roof, fell off a high place, and there was a connection with his yivam. Perhaps that's what the Mishnah means. So he was not asleep; he was awake, but the mais bia was against his will. Well, that wouldn't work either. V'amar Rabba. Rabba tells us nafal menagag v'nitzka. In this type of case, chayiv ba'arbo advarim. So if he abused a woman in this type of circumstance, he's chayiv to pay compensation, full compensation. Nezek, damages, tsar, pain, ripoy, healing, v'sheves, loss of wages. Ubiyavimtay leidin kona. But if this happens with his yevama, he's not kona because the actual physical encounter was not done b'kavana. So although the kishu was b'kavana, was l'shem ishtay, and he was fully awake, but the moment of connection was not l'shem, was not b'kavana at all. He wasn't mindful of what was happening. It was just circumstantial. It was by way of gravity. So that can't be pshat in the Mishnah. That wouldn't be a kinyan. Rather, we have one more pshat, one more option, which accounts for all these concerns. El kegon sheneskaven le'ishtay. What happened was that he was miskaven to interact with his wife, and that created the kishu. Yevama forced him, and created that connection with him. So in this case, he was not sleeping. In this case, it was a kishu ladas. And at the moment of that physical interaction, he was aware of what was happening. It wasn't like he was being pulled down by gravity. It was just a nafal min agag, and he was totally unaware of it and totally not mindful of what was happening. Here he was fully aware at the moment of that interaction, although it was forced on him. But there was a sort of a das labia, and therefore it's considered superior to all those examples. In this case, the Mishnah maintains that he's kind. What's the other case, Reb Chia, where both are anusim? So he experienced kishui for the sake of his wife. Goyim came along and forced them both, Yavam and Yevama v'davkim zeh, and forced them together, and created that being. So once again, there was a kishui, and he was aware during the moment of connection what was happening. So although it was against his will, it was an oinus, totally oinus. The fact is, it's a proper kinyan, and he was yotzi the mitzvah. Okay, let's do a brief chazar of this very challenging daf. So we learned about chalitza that was followed by kedushin. According to Rabbi Kiva, it's worthless. Chayav elaven, ein kedushin toifsim chayav elaven. Chacham say it works. Rabbi says, well, if it's l'shem ishus, it works, but not l'shem yavmus. And today we had 4 separate pshatim in understanding the machlokes. So Rabbi learns, because he spoke about kedushin bezikas yevamin. Rabbi holds yesh zika, and typically the kedushin is based on zika. In this case, it's after chalitza. There's no longer zika. Rabbi Shravi learns, here there was a chalitza psula. Still, Rabbi holds a chalitza psula removes the zika, which doesn't allow for this mamer anymore. Rav Ashi learns that Rabbi holds tonight does not affect chalitza. So even though he made a condition, the chalitza is unaffected and is still impactful, removes the zika, which doesn't allow for this mamer, or according to Ravina, Rabbi holds you do not need. Rabbi holds you need a tanai kafel. You need a repetitive tanai in order for it to be an effective tanai. In this case, he did not make it tanai kafel, and therefore the tanai does not affect the chalitza, which now removes the zika, which doesn't allow for the mamer. The Gemara discussed all the various cases in the Mishnah and had all kinds of diyukim. And then we went on to the last piece over here with the bia and the chalitza. Do they have the final word or not? According to Tanakama, the bia, unless it was done at the first slot, which it's a big shera, if it's done anywhere else on the sequence, doesn't complete the process, and we still have to reckon with things that were done afterwards. Whereas chalitza completes the process, because by bia there's room for gzeris and confusions, but not by chalitza. Reb Nechemi says whether bia or chalitza, wherever it's done, it's the final say. Abi Yossi goes the other way. Bia or chalitza, if it's done in any other slot other than the first, we make all kinds of gzeris. We don't consider them to be the final say. Then we learned that bia on the yivimtai is effective whether b'shoigig, mezid, oines, and ratzin, whether they're both in that state of shoigig or mezid, or one of them. It doesn't matter. Either way, it's a kinyan, and she is his wife. All the best to you and much hatzlach.